Hello again. So Mid-South Chamber Stove here. So I worked this area. I went ahead and worked the rest of the pan drops, the little lips there, and I got my steel wool. I worked the entire section with the polish. Now, when I'm first getting started and really starting to get into it, so there's some pieces back here, and you could feel them. It's a little deeper pitting, but that's actually where that back sits on the BZ. And then sometimes I'll even take my orbital sander, I put it down on top of my steel wool. I'll turn it all the way down to 1. And just see if I can't let that sander do some of the work for me. But see, it's not spinning in a circle, it's orbital. But it's hard to keep it on the steel wool, that's for sure. But I'm just kind of using it to get that steel wool into that surface a little farther. And then I'll take the steel wool, I'll put it to the side. Let's start working it around. I like to keep it wet in this process because if it dries out, it tends to start making it worse. Okay, well, we're still on the 2000 grit. And then, like I said, we'll start going up from there. And I do try to keep enough polish on it while I'm doing that so it doesn't dry out, because if it dries out, it starts getting ugly quick and it's harder to get off, actually. So there's the first full run with the 2000 grit. She is looking pretty good. Not looking bad around the wagon wheel. Really starting to let that shine come through. And I don't want these videos to go too long, but I'd like to stay with you for just a minute more in the process. And let's try it. We'll go up to a 7000 grit, and we'll work one section with the 7000. And that's going to get us, it's a little finer. It's not as much grit. And so then we're going to go back to our chrome polish. I'm just going to put a little bit right there. And let's kind of rub that around so we don't waste any. And then we'll start on low again. And then I'll start working it up faster and faster. Start to see it really start to work on the surface of that chrome. Let it start to get dry. keep it pretty wet. And that's how I like to get started. You know, and those pads are meant to use dry or wet. If you've ever heard of a wet sanding a paint job on a car, that's exactly what they're using, is that type of sanding pad. And so we'll just keep going over it and over it. Get it looking as good as we can, and then we'll go over it again, and then we'll go over it again, and we just keep working it. And you know, obviously it's easier to do with the back off, and I tell everybody, I move them with the backs off. It's not that hard. It's, you know, the back panel is 5, sometimes 6 bolts, screws, basically flathead screws. The backs are typically 5 or 6, so you can pull the back off, pull the back panel off pretty quickly. And when you're working on it, especially if you're really trying to clean into the stove, or if you're trying to, you know, look at a stove and really see what the condition is, that's something you need to be aware of, because the rust you want to look for is actually the hardest place to get to. It's on the back side of the oven, down in the corner. So we'll do some videos on that too. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's looking better. We're gonna keep working on it. Thanks a lot.